Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this very special training. And it's less of a to do and how to do, but more about really what you should be avoiding, and that is burnout. We've been talking a lot about burnout. It's all over the news. It's weaved into corporate wellness programs. So many people are talking about burnout right now. And one of the pieces that I'm compelled to mention is that when people are talking about burnout or when they are bringing it up, it's almost like, yeah, I've been there, or, oh, I burnt out before, or I'm in burnout now, I'm on the road to burnout. And it just seems to be this thing that everyone is accepting. And this is where I want us to have a hard stop. Burnout is not inevitable. You do not need to burn out to get rest. You do not need to burn out to really show everyone, look how hard I worked. Please, I've been asking for help, and now here I am, burnt out. I told you. We have the control. We have the ability to slow ourselves down, to course correct, to stop before we burn out. Burning out is not your only option to receiving rest, to getting noticed, to understanding your value. There's so many other options. And what I want to chat about today are some resources or ways that you can, if you're truly motivated, to not burn out, these are some tips that are going to help you course correct before it's too late. And for my friends who are watching who maybe have already burnt out or are scared that you're going to burn out again, I really want you to take special stock in the mindset piece. What are you giving permission to in your mind? What are you allowing to enter? And burnout, when we're open to burning out, chances are it's going to happen. We're welcoming it in. When we say that's not going to happen to us, when we put that boundary in place, when we do everything we can to not burn out, we're closed to it, and it's not going to happen. Okay, so let's dig in to some tips that you can start to apply regardless of where you're at to avoid burnout. So one of the first things that I mentioned is just looking at what you are willing to believe about burnout. Do you believe that burnout is something that happens to people in corporate, something that happens to solopreneurs, something that happens to parents? Be really willing to look at your views on burnout and change what you believe. It is not something that is bound to happen. Burnout is not inevitable. And we need to rewrite that story in our heads. It is not going to happen to me. And I am in control of whether or not I burn out. Mindset is a really big piece. To support with the mindset, grab a journal or grab your iPhone if you prefer to voice note it instead of writing it out. But I want you to recreate and write out what you believe about burnout. Write the new story. Burnout is something I can avoid. Burnout is something I can change. I don't have to burn out. Whatever mantra or intention feels good to you, go with that. But at the end of the day, let it be something about avoiding burnout, changing the way you view burnout. Okay. Another option is being willing to change your actions and behaviors. A lot of the work that I do talk about this. It's about not just consuming ideas or listening to podcasts or reading books or listening to other people talk about how to avoid burnout or how to live the life that you truly desire. Instead, we have to start attaching action and behavior change to this. So if you are constantly go, 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 and you've built in no time in your day for any rest, any self-care, any time in nature, any grounding practices that are going to help your body feel more calm, then I need you to find some capacity. Okay. And there's a whole other training about time management if you need to go check that out. Find capacity and give yourself permission to rest. So giving yourself permission to rest and taking actions in alignment with that. Everyone's rest is different. Everyone feels refueled by different things. For me, I love going for a walk. I love hiking. I love being in nature. I love being by the water. For me, that helps my body and my system calm down and feel more open to the ideas of possibility. So figure out what it is for you. Maybe it is hiking. Maybe it's time in nature. Maybe you need to build in more time to sleep at night. Okay, 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night is not enough. 6 hours, it's also really not enough. We should be getting 7 to 8 hours, even as adults, even as busy adults, of sleep a night. What do you need to do to adjust your schedule so that this is possible? Okay, numbing out and watching TV all night cuts into your sleep. Start prioritizing how you want to feel. Maybe it's also time to build in time for playing with your kids or playing with friends, finding a hobby, doing something that is going to get your body moving and encourage play. Have fun. Okay? Some of these subtle changes and actions to your behavior are going to help reset and calm down your body. So if you are on that road to burnout, you're likely feeling very tired. You're likely getting sick all the time. There are very physical symptoms to burnout. So if you can start paying attention to this and figuring out, what does my body need? Is it more rest? Is it time in nature? Is it some play? What does your body need? And put actions on that. Okay? We have to change our actions and our behaviors in order to have a different result. Maybe that's also adding in more nutritious foods. What food makes you feel good? Like truly makes you feel good. I know that I can eat a bag of chips, and while I'm doing it, I'm getting like a hit of excitement and adrenaline. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this feels good. I like this. But instantly afterwards, I'm like, oh, now I don't feel good. Why did I do that? So balancing out those quick hits of joy or fake joy, I guess, and really understanding what food nourishes my body. What do I really like to eat? And then do that. Okay, tip number 3 is getting clear on your priorities. I know I've also chatted about this in some of my other trainings, but this is a big one. Oftentimes we are very stuck in what we believe are our priorities. But really, what those are obligations and expectations and a lot of should. So getting clear on your priorities is a big piece to avoiding burnout. Because when you don't know what your priorities are, you don't know where to invest your time or your energy. So what ends up happening is you invest your time and energy everywhere, and too much of it in places that are not actually serving you. So understanding what your top priorities are. A quick little exercise that you can do is to write out all of your priorities. Maybe you want to group them together, whatever. I don't care how you do it. Just put all of your priorities down on paper, list them all out. And then the next step to that, this is the challenging piece. I want you to assign an order to those priorities from 1 to whatever. Put them in order. No ties allowed. You have to rank them. Ranking your priorities like this is going to give you clarity pretty quickly on what your true top priorities are. From there, I'm going to say about your top 6 or 7, maybe 5, 6, 7 priorities. Those are your top priorities. If you are not spending the most amount of time and energy in those top priorities, you're likely misaligned. And taking a look at all of your priorities and understanding, where am I spending my time? Where do I need to release? What do I need to release? What is actually not one of my priorities? If you have something down at the bottom, you're like, wow, I just ranked this the bottom of my priorities. Still a priority, but it's right at the bottom. I challenge you. Can you either outsource it? Can you let it go? Or can you just spend less time focused on it? So aligning your time, energy with your top priorities is going to help you have clarity and avoid that burnout. Okay. So that's a big piece, and that's a really awesome project that you could take. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes and just brain dump it out, put it in order, and then see where you're spending your time and see how to align it. Okay. The other piece is capacity. So I talk also a lot about time management and boundaries. There are separate trainings that you can go back to and visit. However, I cannot stress enough how you spend your time and where you're spending your time is essential. This may mean that you need stronger boundaries in place for yourself on where you're spending your time. This goes, again, highly connected to your priorities, but having a really awesome time management and process for boundaries is going to be key in helping you avoid burnout. Because what it's going to allow you to do is clearly be able to say no to something because it's not a priority or you don't actually have capacity for it, but saying yes to what you do have time for, what you do have capacity for, and what is a priority to you. When we say yes to everything or we make time for everything, that's when we find ourselves constantly going, taking on way too much, often way too fast. And there's no stopping. There's no end in sight. And that's when burnout and the symptoms of burnout can really start to take over. When we don't have enough space in our days, in our weeks, and in our months to do things like rest or sleep or play, or even eat nutritious foods, connect with the people that we truly love, that's when we're on the road to burnout. So we need to figure out where we're spending our time. We need to be protective about where we're spending our time. And that's where the boundaries come into play. But if you go into some of the other trainings here, there's a get in control of your time training. And then there is boundaries is not a dirty word training. Check those out. They should give you some additional resources. But time and boundaries is a huge piece to avoiding burnout. And then the other piece is gratitude. When we can start focusing more on the things that we are happy about, the things that we are grateful for, those pieces of life that are going well, when we start bringing in that energy of gratitude, of appreciation, our system feels calmer. We start to feel a bit more open. We start to create more capacity for believing that things are going well. When we have that mindset on that everything's awful, this is going to be another hard day, or things are just the worst, I'm so busy. When we have that running dialogue in our heads, we start to believe it and our bodies start to react. And burnout is not just about your mind, it's not just about doing too much. It really does have physical symptoms. And I encourage you to check out Lori Aikman. Her and I did an awesome IG live together where we talked about the combination of physical symptoms as well as emotional and mental symptoms. So if you want to explore more about those physical symptoms, definitely check out Lori. But one of the tips to start to change how you feel in your physical body and how your body is reacting to the stress and the busyness of life is practicing gratitude. Every night, just writing down or saying out loud what you're grateful for and making this a practice. Instead of saying things like, I have to do this, say things like, I get to, or I have an opportunity to. Right? I'm grateful for. Starting to do this, but you need to believe it. And I get that as well. So you don't necessarily say like, I get to go into a meeting with my boss, or I get to pull another 14-hour day. We also can't trick ourselves. So finding the things that you are grateful for and really focusing in on that energy as opposed to what you're not grateful for or what is a stress or is a struggle for you. Okay, so just to recap, changing how we view burnout. We need to start there, changing that we are no longer open to burning out. Burning out is not an option. And we're going to do things to avoid burning out. Number 2, changing our actions and behaviors. If you want things to change, if you want to avoid burnout, you need to change your actions and behaviors. Building in time for rest, for sleep, for mindfulness practices, for time in nature, whatever it is, for play. You need to change your actions so that you're not constantly go, 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 go. Build in space. Okay. Time management and boundaries. How are you going to start building in more time for what you truly want? Okay. Time management and boundaries. And that goes with number 4, aligning your priorities. Getting crystal clear on what your top priorities are so that you can spend your time and your energy where it best serves you. And then finally, gratitude. Building in gratitude practices into your life. Starting to look at what is going well, what you do appreciate, and really focusing in on that so that your body knows that things are okay. The big piece is, though, if you keep running a million miles an hour constantly with no breaks, a negative outlook about what's going on in your life, maybe you're surrounding yourself by toxic people. And I get it. If you're at work and that's the environment, we need to figure out solutions for you. And you can figure out those solutions. This is about changing those actions. Maybe you need noise canceling headphones. Maybe you need to challenge yourself to find some gratitude, building in those mindfulness practices so that when that comes at you, because it's going to continue to come at you, we're always going to have different stressors in our lives. We're always going to have ups and downs, and we cannot control what other people do. We cannot control other people's energy, but we can control our own. So really understanding that you are in control of whether or not you burn out, you are in control about how you respond in certain situations, and you are in control of protecting your time, your boundaries, your energy, and your priorities, you're going to feel so much safer and able to navigate the ups and downs of life. We do not need to burn out to take a break. We do not need to wear busy and overwhelm and super stressed and burnout as a badge of honor. If you want to avoid burnout and the very physical symptoms that come with it, the emotional toll it takes, and the mental toll it takes, then this is your chance to avoid it by changing your actions, getting clear on your priorities, building in the time and boundaries that you need in order to protect that space, and really finding what you can celebrate in life. Now, like everything, I get it. We're all busy people. You've got lots going on. If you need some support and you want guidance on how to truly avoid burnout, how you can build in those practices so that you feel successful and on the right track, I am always here. Reach out to me. I would be happy to help you create a plan that is going to help you be successful in avoiding burnout, and not just avoiding burnout and living this like mediocre life where the goal is avoid burnout. That's not the goal. That's step one, avoiding burnout. Step two is living a life that you are going to be proud of to see when it flashes before your eyes. Living a life that you really feel empowered by, a life that has less shoulds in it and more full body, relentlessly me approved. Okay? So, step one, let's avoid burnout. And if you need support, I can absolutely help you with that. We'll create a plan. We'll build in the consistency. You'll have the support of someone who cares, and we'll get you on track. And then we can elevate to the next level, which is really creating a life that you truly desire and truly deserve. Again, you do not need to burn out to get rest. You do not need to burn out to matter. You get to live the life you truly desire. I hope that this has been supportive. Drop some comments in the chat, or if you have any questions, reach out to me. My info is below, and I am always here. Thank you. Thank you.